Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you a really cool British Telecom telephone. These are generally post office telephones, and this is HG's telephone from Delaware. And HG always has these really cool post office telephones that he finds when he's overseas, and he brings them back and we work on them and we convert them, and most of the time to a touch tone situation, because these telephones usually only dial out in pulse or rotary, same thing. Even though it looks touch tone, it's a pulse signal when it dials. And so we want to do away with that and go to tone. And this does not have a star and pound. And HG does not want star and pound. He doesn't need it. He has other telephones he can use for that option if he wants, he says. But he wants the touch tone version. And so anyway, we're going to be working on this telephone. I already did an initial check out of this telephone, but we're getting ready to start the conversion. And it's going to be, although we did an initial check out of this phone before, I'm a little going to show you the telephone. I'm a little further into it now, and when it came in, this keypad was just loose. And I showed that in an earlier video. And then it did not have any kind of a line cord, and the handset cord was not connected either. So either somebody tried to get this telephone to work in the past, or they had problems with it, or they just didn't really know what was going on and they started taking things apart, or it was pieced together. It's just really hard to say. But a lot of times when it comes to these type of keypads, they're not exactly like ours, and they're a manual keypad. And so what we need to do is we're going to have to disassemble this keypad. Now, on some of them I've actually had to take a perforated electronic board and put momentary switches in the place where I needed to put them, and then wire that to a tone generator circuit. So in this one, we're just going to, in the conversion, we're just going to start taking everything apart and see where that leads us into the design, because we're going to have to redesign everything. Obviously, we can't use it the way it is, and so we're going to have to utilize the outside of the keypad, the front face of it, but yet we can't use anything on the inside. So we're just going to be in the middle of taking everything apart and kind of going from there. I can get a little bit of this in the video, but here in a little bit we're going to take a break. I'll try to take some of it apart here. And once we take a break, we'll get further into it. But we have to get this keypad apart first. And I'll kind of give you a look at what this looks like here as we're taking this apart. And it looks like we've got a few screws here that we'll have to remove the front panel here. They've got quite a few screws here. And then later on, once we get the touch tone situation straightened out, then we can get into the bell circuit. And probably what we'll do on this telephone is install a modular port in the back. so that HG can plug any line cord he wants up to it, and that'll be for a clean connection. They would never build anything like this now. There's probably 10 screws or more in here, and that's just not the way. It kind of gives away the age of the telephone. It's been around a while. They just don't build things like this too much anymore. That's what's cool about these older phones. Once we get this disassembled, we can get a better look at it. And this kind of shows you the workings. This is like the inside of it now, and this would move back and forth as you would punch buttons down, and it would kick up. If I can get it to do it, and then it would hit this micro switch here, and kind of move like that. What's good about this in a way is each button has a key on it so that it can't fall out. So we'll have to get into it a little deeper and find out what we've got going on here. I'm going to have to remove this board and then kind of get a look underneath this board. I might be able to wire up to this board and then go over and shoot over to a tone generator IC board. So we'll just have to get into it a little further, but that kind of gives you a look at what we're, faced up against. A lot of times these conversions are not simple conversions, and it takes time to get these straightened out. So we'll know a little more about it, and I'll try to get some more video of it once we move further into the redesign of this telephone, and we'll just kind of go from there. But we'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and so we're going to kind of show you a few things that we've been working on. And basically what happens is we had to create, since this keypad here was dialing out in pulse, there was no way that it was set up for a touch tone board. And so what we had to do is take it apart. We also had to cut off each little standoff that came out a lot higher than what they do now. And we had to make sure that the clearance was proper. Also, this part was original to the keypad, and we had to wire momentary switches and then insert them where the standoffs would go through. And then we had to stabilize each momentary switch so that they didn't flop around. And we've done that. And we have all of our wiring now. It's pretty detailed and intricate work, but that's what we do here at the shop. This is an everyday occurrence, and if it's not something like this, it'll be something just as, as detailed. So we had to redesign everything, and we were able to use some of the original pieces to this keypad. Now this part we don't need any longer at all, so that won't be used. And so now what we have to do, and as you're doing this and you're building this, you have to test each individual switch as you put them on. or momentary switch, and then when you get it all together, you have to test them. So it's a continuous build a little bit, test a little bit, build a little bit, test. So you just got to keep going. But now we have our keypad, and this will be associated to our tone generator circuit. And I'm just checking my switches, and now I also have put them on the meter, and so we know that they are all have conductivity, so they're all working. Anyway, this just shows you a little bit about what we go through every day. So now what we're ready to do is we're going to go ahead and mount this board to this board. And we know it's a 10 key because there's no star and pound. And HG is not concerned with that. And we know these 4 standoffs center right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple of screws in it real quick, and I'm going to kind of show you the clearance, find out where they're at here. We'll drop a couple of screws in here. Pretty sure that's where they both go. We'll get that lined up, and we want to tighten them down. We have a couple of other ones over here, I believe, that we'll be installing also. There's 4 of them. And that will hold these 2 boards together. And so now what we can be assured of, because I already went through the clearances here, every time you push one of the keys, it's going to, in return behind it, activate the momentary switch. And I can actually feel them hit. And if the video is picking that up, so that worked out real nice. And what we're going to do here is we also have to install a tone generator board and circuit right in this area. And then from the earlier part of the video, we know that these 2 little tabs sit on top of the bells. So we'll plug them in, and then there is a mount screw that goes through here. And so now we're back to our original keypad that has been redesigned, and that'll look something like that. So it's well on its way into a final repair here, and once we get our board installed, our circuit for our tone generator, we will certainly wire up our keypad to it, and then we can cut off the rest of our pigtail there. So there's just a lot to it, and it's time consuming, but that's what we do here. And so this is nothing different than any other day, really. But we'll get a little more video of our tone generator circuit wired up, and then we'll start mounting everything. We also want to install a modular port, and on this telephone there's a square knockout, and I believe I'm going to have enough room here to install a modular port, and HG can simply plug a line cord into it and he'll be ready to go. Now I know he also likes a switch on his telephones to turn the bell off, and so we'll have to kind of get that into the design also. and we'll just see where that leads and where we end up putting that switch. But we'll do a little more video here in a little bit. We're going to take a break and continue on with this redesign and conversion and repair. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and what we've done here is wired the keypad to the tone generator board. And so what we need to do is we need to do some tests now. So I'm going to go ahead and hold the keypad, and you can watch the analyzer, and I'm going to plug the line cord in, and it just sees the line. And so what I want to do now, if you watch, I'll dial my numbers. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and 2. We'll hang up. We'll try that one more time. And then I'm going to end in a 2. We'll try that one more time, because I like to check and recheck. I'm going to end in a 2, and now we can unplug. So now what we're ready to do is we're going to install the keypad and the PC board, which is the tone generator. We're going to make our connections for our handset, because they were not connected to anything, and they will also be connected to the PC board that carries the tone generator. So we'll be in the process of doing that, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll get that squared away, and we'll get some more video of the situation. We'll be right back. Okay, we're finished up with the telephone now, and I'll show you a little bit about what's going on here with the telephone. We installed our main PC board here. We also wired our handset into this board. We installed a modular port so HG can simply walk up to this telephone and plug it right in like you would any telephone, and he can use any length modular cord, line cord he wants. Now HG likes a switch to turn his bells off, so we mounted it like this so we wouldn't have to cut on the cover, and it kind of aims down so it's a little bit out of the way, and we didn't have to cut the cover. And now he can turn his bell off or on. He likes to be able to turn it all the way off. So that gives you a little bit of a look of how it turned out, and it turned out really nice. Now, another issue was earlier in the video we showed how we installed modular or momentary switches on the original piece that was behind the keypad, and so now that enables us to get our touch tone keypad going. So that turned out really nice. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a little bit of a break and put the cover on, and then we're going to do some final checks, so we'll be right back. Okay, we've installed our cover and put the screw that holds the cover on right here, and now it's time to go ahead and plug up the modular plug, the line cord. So now there's a simple clean connection for HG. We also have our switch here like we mentioned earlier. So now what we'll do is I'll go ahead and ring the phone. I'll let that go a couple times and then turn it off. On the next ring cycle, I'll turn it off. And so now that's off, and I'll let a ring cycle go by. Every time you see this red light, a ring cycle is going by. Now I'm going to turn it back on. Give you some dial tone. This is a really cool British Telecom telephone, and it turned out really nice. So now what we'll do is we'll ring it again. Give you some dial tone. If you watch the analyzer here, you'll see the numbers go by. I'm going to end in a 2. I'm going to hang up, walk through the numbers one more time. End in a 2. Now I want to transmit into the handset. And so if you watch this red light here, every time that red light lights, that's an indication of 100% modulation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hello, hello. So we know everything is working on this telephone. Transmit, receive, it's dialing out in tone. We can turn the bell on and off. And what we can do now is move the telephone over to a regular line. Give you some dial tone. And I'll go ahead and dial a time and temp number.
Good afternoon. 2 Ford stores, one great company, Offenburg Ford, a short drive to great value. Today is Saturday, June 30th. The time is 5:24. Current temperature 113 degrees. Now the Belleville area weather forecast.
Very hot today, sunny skies, highs around 103, mostly clear tonight, lows in the mid-70s. Very hot on Sunday, mostly sunny skies, highs around 105.
Okay, so now what we can do is I'll call my number and it'll be busy. We'll call one other number, although we don't need anything from there.
Thank you for calling Walmart. Thank you for calling Walmart. How may I help you?
How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Oh, pretty good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
I guess I don't need a new telephone, do I?
No, I can hear you really good.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. You have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you. Okay. So, we don't need a new telephone. We have one. It's been reconverted and redesigned, and now HG can use this telephone, and I think he's really going to get a big kick out of this phone. It's a really cool telephone, and now it's touch tone, and I think he could hold any conversation every day on it now and not have any problems. So, you know, it's just a really cool British Telecom telephone, and I believe this was a post office telephone, although I'm not totally sure of that. But these are really neat phones, and HG always has, you know, these really cool telephones that he sends in for repair, and they always turn out really well. They take a little bit of work, and they're a little more time invested in them, but they turn out really nice, and that's what matters in the end. This is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. This is HG's telephone from Delaware. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.